Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us again for another Roomvo University webinar. As always, we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to be here with us. For today's webinar, we're kind of changing things up from the norm and have brought on two amazing retailers to discuss how they're thriving in our ever-evolving market. But before I get the chance to introduce them, I wanted to start things off with a quick Roomvo update, as always. So for a limited time, our white Roomvo kiosks are actually $300 off while supplies last. So if any of you in the audience have been thinking about getting a kiosk, now is your chance. And for those of you who aren't familiar with our Roomvo kiosk, it's our in-store solution for creating collaborative and engaging shopping experiences for customers. Customers can easily browse products in your showroom and bring them to life in their own space in just seconds using our 43-inch touchscreen Roomvo kiosk. We're seeing tons of amazing engagement with customers today, and we've got units in over 165 showrooms across the country. So for any of you that are in the audience that are interested in a Roomvo kiosk, please feel free to reach out to me or your Roomvo rep after the webinar to secure one for your showroom. And so with that, let's get this webinar started. I'll get started by introducing my awesome co-host, Jim Armstrong. As you all know by now, Jim Armstrong is an internationally known trainer and coach for flooring dealers, and he's also the founder and president of Flooring Success Systems, a marketing services and coaching program for dealers. Since 2007, thousands of retailers across the US and Canada have relied on Jim's methods to get more customers, get higher margins, gain an unfair advantage over the box stores, and live the lifestyles that they deserve. Welcome, Jim.
Hey, I'm super happy to be here. And I got to tell you, one of my favorite webinars to do is floor dealer panels, because we're hearing from people that are on the front lines in the trenches right now. And I'm very excited about these two guests and what they have to share with us. So yeah, let's jump in.
All right. And another welcome to our audience. Thanks again for being here. For any of you in the audience, are you worried about the current slowdown in the flooring market? Do you ever wonder how your flooring business may be able to adapt to the changes in our industry? If so, you're not alone. And that's why in today's webinar, we're doing something special. Our topic is thriving in a changing market, and we're featuring a panel of two successful flooring dealers to share their firsthand experiences on how they're staying ahead of the curve and maintaining their success in spite of a flooring slowdown. And so our first guest is Eric Matthews. He's the sales manager of Breagle's Abbey Carpet, a dealership which has been in business for 75 years in Wichita Falls, Texas. Thanks for joining us, Eric.
Glad to be here.
And I didn't know that.
And we had a last minute change of guests for our session today, but I'm super excited to have our second guest here, James Johnson, who's been in the industry since 1989. He's the owner of Central Floor Supply with 3 locations serving the Fresno, California area. James, thanks so much for joining us today.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. I had no idea I was going to be talking on this. I thought I was just watching, so I'll do the best I can.
All right.
And
well,
I'll talk to Linnea after this is over.
All right.
Right.
James, why don't we start with you?
Okay.
Why don't you give us a quick background on your business? And if I'm not mistaken, you did start as a flooring installer. Is that correct?
I did. In 1989, I started installing flooring at $5 an hour, installing carpet. I did that for about 4 years before I got my contractor's license in 94. And then I ran crews and installed all over the San Joaquin Valley up till about 15 years ago when I decided to open my first store. I think it was right around 2006, 2008, right as the economy crashed. So the store persevered while I continued installing with my crews, and then we've gone full speed ahead from there.
Amazing. That's so great to hear. And so I guess you can understand from when you had started your business out kind of what we're experiencing today with the slowdown in the market. Eric, let's pass it to you. How long have you been with Breagle's Abbey Carpet?
So I've been with Breagle's for 5 years, and that was my introduction to the flooring tiling industry. So my background has been retail sales, marketing, and so whenever I retired from that, relocated, and I've had a blast. It was just so interesting, something brand new. Interesting time right before COVID, what we saw after COVID and then post COVID. So 5 years in the Florida industry.
All right.
So, oh, go ahead, Reed.
No, you go ahead, Jim.
All right, so let's talk about the market slowdown. We've come off what I called the COVID boom. Something happened that none of us were expecting. COVID hit. I was meeting with my Flooring Success Systems members on a weekly basis to try and, we were brainstorming and masterminding on how we were going to keep our businesses, alive. We were thinking this was going to be a disaster, and within about 60 days, the topic of those calls became not how am I going to get business, but how am I going to handle this onslaught of business. Happened for the entire remodeling industry, and it has, as all markets do, it's gone the other direction now. So how has the recent slowdown in the flooring market affected, your overall sales and your overall business? I'll start with you, Eric.
I'm sure we're just like everyone else in the country. Some maybe a little bit better than others, depending on where you're at. It's been a tough year. It's been a tough 12 months with the interest rates, what they've been building, and we're in a particular area that there's not any growth to speak of to start with. So, it's been really tough on the building industry. And so you really, my limited experience, coming in, going into COVID, having that boom, it's really interesting what you really think outside the box, things that you look at, make the sales and continue to survive, and continue to know that, even though we're on, been on a down cycle, it's going to go up. That's whatever business you're in. I mean, it's always, cycle. So we've experienced it in North Texas, just like everyone else has. We've been blessed in a lot of ways, the pocket of the country that we're in, but it's been challenging.
Okay, same question for you, James.
I would say we've been very blessed because we've experienced growth even in a slow market. So when I check with my other reps, you may hear, while I was in your store, you had 3 customers, where I don't see 3 customers. Another dealer's not getting 3 customers in a week. We started with Mohawk because we had so much money with the co-op. We started doing advertising using that co-op money. And that happened during the COVID time when it really wasn't needed. But we've continued with it. And those TV commercials bring in a lot of walk-in traffic. That and my sales staff, we don't really do anything here at Central Florida that's new build related. It's all residential and property management and small commercial. And the guys and girls really have their hands out everywhere and hitting every market. So when one thing's a little slow, something else is carrying them through. But the walk-in has been very steady, and we've experienced growth. We've added cabinets and countertops. That's been very helpful. One decline we've seen is the installers. We used to sell to a lot of installers in stock material, and with the influx of direct import, guys just selling direct import, they've taken a lot of that market share. So that I've seen a slowdown in for sure. But between the website and the advertising, we've been able to keep the foot traffic on the residential customer high.
That's great to hear. And James, that kind of is a great segue into my next question. I was going to ask you both, what are some things that you're doing to drive foot traffic into your showrooms? And you mentioned the co-op dollars that you get through the Mohawk program. You've got an Omnify Plus website. So those 2 things in tandem seem to be, working successfully for you and your business.
Absolutely. They do that with like Instagram, Facebook. I'm not a marketing guru, but you see how it all intermixes. They watch a TV commercial, they see a T-shirt, they go online. You've got an excellent website. I've had people in the last couple of weeks just rave like, your website's so awesome. I was able to put the floor in my house. We've looked at every combination, so it just gets them started, and then they want to come and they want to see the sample in person, and then from there, of course, it's your sales staff. I've got some really personable people, I think, that do a great job, but you got to get them in first. But all of those aspects of it, I've had to learn over time, that they all work in conjunction with one another.
Of course.
Yeah.
Eric, you guys have an awesome website through the Abbey Group as well. You have the Roomvo visualizer, so you have the ability to have customers visualize products ahead of time. Are there other things that your business and your owners are doing to drive foot traffic into the Briegel showroom?
Yeah, and possibly it could be just a common tools that everyone is using. But you think back to when times were really good. I mean, at that point in time, we really focused on what can we do to sustain it? What can we do to be better? From the advertising aspect. Our owner invests a lot in advertising, to making sure that we have the latest technology and trying to make sure we're ahead of the curve. Like in our particular market, we were way ahead of the curve with Roomvo and what we did with our website. I think things like making sure we have the newest displays through our buying group. And I think that's some things that's really helped us sustain our business. And I think things such as our company has been here for 75 plus years. So, in our market, we have built such a great business with builders. We built such a great business with interior designers, such a great business with installers. They'll send us their customers. We serve, help, and they help us with our sales because of the service that we give them. And I think something like what James has said, Bobby Dill's the owner of our business. His team, he's got 5 main people that have been here for 25 plus years. So the experience, the knowledge they have, the customer service they give. And even though I'm still fairly new to it, the business reputation and the business name reputation that Briegels has in our marketplace, I think we just continue to build on that, grow with that.
Yeah, I can see James nodding his head too. I want to, like, within our industry, I think like word of mouth is such a valuable marketing tool, and referral customers. It's so important that, like, from start to finish, that you're creating this really unique and engaging experience with really helpful and responsive sales staff that, your customers then want to refer their friends and their family to come back to your business. So I think all of those things are incredibly important. With regards to your customers today and, everything that's going on, how are you feeling that your customers are currently responding to the market conditions? Are you noticing any kind of shifts in their current buying behavior at all?
So if you're asking me, Reed, I think one of the things that we've noticed was, it's probably like in any business, there can be that fear of the unknown. Like, we know interest rates will eventually go down, and things will eventually get better. Maybe we need to do that next project until next year. And it's funny in this business. There's you still have customers even in the downturns. They have the disposable income, to remodel a kitchen or to get new flooring or do an addition on a home. But I think one thing possibly, and what James was talking about, foot traffic, you can sit there and say, okay, a year and a half ago, we could see this many people coming in a week, where it may be just a few less, now in this year's time. So I think a lot of that, what we've just sensed, what we've seen, is maybe a hesitancy to jump into, a residential project, just kind of waiting until maybe now everything's talking about after the election. So.
Understood. And James, for you, you mentioned that sales have been great for you, and you actually do have quite a lot of customers and foot traffic in your showrooms. Are you noticing that there's any difference in how they're buying or what they're buying?
They're buying more laminate. We're selling a lot more laminate, but most of the people that come in have already have an idea of what they're going to spend, and they're ready to buy. So it's very few that get a sticker shock from what flooring costs. They have a pretty good idea. So for my guys, I just think it doesn't help. It does help to get them in when you give somebody customer service. People are so accustomed to be taken advantage by contractors, by big business, that when a one-on-one relationship is formed and you actually care and you talk to them about the flooring that they're buying and how it works in their house, not just here's what I have in stock. You know, I have this in stock, but this isn't for you because this isn't made for that. This is made for the flip. This is made for the rental or whatever. This isn't for you. This is what's for you. This is what will work in your home that you can actually think will work for 15 to 20 years. You know, when you're honest with them and they're ready to buy, they're there already. They want to buy. I think that helps us. And then that experience is passed on. You did my friend's house. You did my mom's house. You did this, but that takes time. That's not something you can do in this market right this second to increase foot traffic next month. That takes a long, like Eric said, that reputation, and man, that reputation goes far. Fresno's not huge, but it's a big city. But man, the word gets around, you know, and whether it be on the internet or whether it be word of mouth, when you treat people right and you do things right, they hear about it and they'll come in. But again, I'll keep harping on that TV commercial. Every new face, not every new face, but if they weren't referred, I saw you on TV. I want to see the movie star. I want to see the kids, right? And the tendency is, okay, it did start to slow down. Let's get out of let's slow down on the advertising, which is the wrong way to go. Let's keep the advertising or increase the advertising and keep the people coming in.
Yeah, if something's working, marketing wise, a temptation is to cut back, and I always coach dealers to double down on it when things slow down. Don't cut that.
So that's what the ad exec always tells me, and I just wonder, like, come on, is that just for you or is that for me? And he's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and you don't slow down. It's just your cost of customer increases, but you got to keep them coming in, and that's good advice.
Yeah, and the other thing you both are saying, you're hitting on, I hope everybody's tuning into this. They're doing a lot of things. What both of you are doing is you're creating a culture of referrals, meaning that when people come in, their experience is such that it's going to create that referral situation. And I have helped dealers do it who are new in business. Now, it isn't the kind of thing that you know you're gonna do a job this week and then you're gonna get a ton of referrals. Although that does happen. You know, people, they get a new floor in, and if you've treated them right, if you've, Walt Disney said, do whatever you do so well that others can't help but talk about you. And that's what I hear you two guys saying. And it takes a long view to do that. It's not a transaction mindset. It's a lifetime value mindset. So let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about the labor shortage. I'm hearing from dealers all over the place. They're having trouble finding good help. You cannot walk down the street without bumping into help wanted signs. It's every industry. It's just across the board. So two questions. Has that impacted your business? And if so, what are you doing about it? We'll start with you, James.
It hasn't, it really hasn't impacted mine because I have a long time running relationship with the contractors that work out of here, and I'm dedicated to making sure that they work every day. So, and then when you reach outside of that network of the guys that you have, you may know some other good guys, but you don't always get what you want, and you're used to your guys, and you know what they're going to do, and you know the customer satisfaction they're going to bring, and you know that they get there on time. They're not sitting at the gas station drinking coffee. They're getting to the job. And I'd say this, I think we could do more if I knew I had that help. So I guess you could say that it does affect me in that manner. If I was to go outside and look for other guys, it would be difficult. Then the other part of that is the labor cost, what these guys want. Tile setters in Fresno are $10 a square foot. They've doubled what they want. So I guess it has impacted. It hasn't impacted the business I have. It's impacted the business I would want to go get.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. How about you, Eric? Have you, and I'm not talking just about installers, I'm talking about any team member, installers, salespeople, support staff. Uh, have you had trouble finding those people to fill those positions? And if so, what have you done, to mitigate that?
So up to this point, this is another area that our business has been really fortunate. We have a group of hourly installers, and we also have a group of subcontractors. And of course, our business is divided with residential, retail, and commercial, but also utilizing the site help. So, in other words, like we're an hour and a half from Fort Worth, north of Fort Worth. We're 2 hours south of Oklahoma City. And even though we're not in a metroplex, we're close enough that we've actually reached out and we've actually been able to hire some third-party installation teams. And I think it's something that James just said there. When you do that, you got to make sure you have outstanding leads. You got to make sure that you have outstanding project managers, because they don't have your culture from being there on time, from serving your customers. It's not Regal's customers, it's all of our customers. But we've been real fortunate in that. Now, I said all that to say this, even though that we've been fortunate, I think everybody can see on the horizon that, this is a challenge for the industry. I mean, I don't see, 24-year-olds, 5-year-olds jumping out in this business, possibly that was here 30 years ago doing it. A lot of those guys that was there then are still here, but you don't see the replacement, so to speak, the future coming in. And I think it's going to be a challenge. I think the industry recognizes that. Things that we're doing is trying to continue to reach out to the ones that are in it. They're young family members. They're young friends, bringing them on, teaching them, being patient, working with them, because, 10 years from now, we still want to be installing. So.
Yeah, the installer shortage is something, and it's around a lot of the construction industry, but installing that's a multifaceted issue. We've covered it a lot, and there are things that you can do to mitigate that. We did a Roomvo webinar not too far back where we talked about the installation issue. We've done at least one or two. Let's talk about product trends. James, what are you seeing? What kind of products are currently trending in your store, and do you see this changing over the next year?
I see a big influx in laminate, the waterproof laminate, WPCs, better quality of vinyl plank. Echoing something Eric said, yeah, with the installers, there is definitely going to be a shortage of carpet installers. No one wants to install carpet. I mean, you can lay one hard surface job you can be a journeyman in a week, is what it seems like. And but carpet, and I'm being sarcastic, that's just how some of these guys act. But carpet, man, it's getting to be a real shortage of guys that know how to install carpet. No one wants to do it. It's hard work. And you don't make the kind of money you do putting in hard surface. But laminate is a big one. Revwood has been very popular for us, with all the bells and whistles that come with that at its price point. But laminate and just better qualities of vinyl plank, especially the WPCs.
Floor Covering News just did an article, Steve Feldman, about an article that the Wall Street Journal did. I believe it's the Wall Street Journal, that carpet's actually trending back. It's starting to. So we'll see how that shapes up combined with the shortage of installers. So Eric, how about you? What trends are you seeing, and how do you see it changing over the next year, if at all?
Yeah. So in our business, in the time frame that I've been here, when I first started, it was just like LVP just started booming, and the flyers, the marketing about the waterproof, the easy, they did a fantastic job. But over the next couple of years, I think all of a sudden there was a lot learned as far as the floor prep, how you install it, the thinness of the material whenever you start talking about LVP. And just like James, what I've seen, I think we're in this past year, it's fun to look at the POs we made off Vortec display. You know, the POs we made off Arndine display. You know, some of these WPC, better materials, a whole lot more durable, bigger ring ups, more profit. So I see us a lot of the items, instead of just that base SPC, I think, you know, we've seen our customers go up, and that's why I think it's been so important to be on the forefront. Like for example, the Redwood. You know, we've ordered the latest, the newest, the huge Redwood display. We're already selling. I'm getting samples in before we even get the display. Get it. So I think material like that. So I think a step up in the vinyls. We're focusing on the high quality stuff. You know, talk about carpet installers. You know, something I love to sell is Fabrica carpet. You know, it's super high end. There's nothing more fun to sell than $100 plus a retail yard of carpet. But you can't sell a pattern carpet unless you got someone that can install it, or you can't sell carpet to go on steps unless you have someone to install it. So James, I feel your pain on that.
Yeah.
But I think focusing, so you can go to Lowe's any day of the week. You can go to Home Depot. You can find a $2 vinyl plank, okay? But I think everyone, you know, the experience, it's allowed us now to focus. Let's get some quality products, quality ring ups, quality profits. We sell a ton of tile. Carpet we're actually selling more carpet now. Now we're still in a market that, you know, it's basically hard surface, but carpet's in the bedrooms. But with just like, for example, this past year at our Abbey market, you know, the new shawl displays are fantastic. You know, and of course it's private labeled, but you know, focusing on some nylon, some high end, some of the high performance pads. You know, it's great ring ups, but one thing that I've seen, people are going maybe more bedrooms now instead of just doing area rugs, you know, over a hard surface. We are selling more. And I just want to mention tile. We sell a lot of tile, and it's still, you know, it's like anything else. You know, we really focus on having like the latest trends in colors, in styles. You know, all of a sudden, you know, a year ago, you start seeing displays coming in with the greens, the blues, and even in North Texas, our market, you know, that has been a hit. And I think that goes back to where we as flooring retailers, you know, there's always going to be a Home Depot, there's always going to be a Lowe's, there's always going to be a box store. There's a niche for us, as long as we're on the forefront of making sure that we have the right product. Everybody, the world is small now. Our customers here know exactly what the Dallas stores are offered. They advertise it on our YouTube channels. Floor and Decor is advertised on my YouTube channel, so everybody knows it. But that's what I see. I see the trends. You know, even though we're still kind of, you know, traditional and a little bit rustic, you know, I've seen the trends of like the hard surfaces, the clean, you know, white oak looks, European white oaks. So we're getting a lot of that here too.
With regards to the trends that you guys are seeing, something that often comes up is the need for sustainability. And so for you both, like when you're, you know, selecting products that are going to be available in your showrooms, do you take into consideration sustainability, and like how important is it with regards to your product offering? And do you see this being something that's going to be kind of shaping the market in the future?
When you say sustainability, do you mean availability, or are we talking more in a manner of green?
Yeah, more in the matter of green and the products that, you know, are used to create these flooring products.
It does. As far as that goes for me, I mean, I'm all into recycling, and you know, we're a recycling location for the state of California, and we recycle all of our carpet and pad. I just don't have very many customers in any of our stores that ask about it. They just don't ask much about sustainability, green. I'm ashamed to say I don't really, it's not really a factor for me. I don't really consider it. Maybe I should be more socially conscious, but I'm not. So, but I'm sure Eric is.
So let me just jump in. Similar to here, James, I mean, it's, you know, of course, you focus on what your customers are focused on. And, even though like just an example, you know, a Mohawk or Shaw display. I mean, there's a ton of information about it. In North Texas, that is not a driving factor. Now you could go 2 hours south of us in the north parts of Dallas, where it's huge, but it's really not a factor here for us in our business.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Different, markets require, different products and whatnot for their customers. I can also understand, James, you mentioned availability. I can also understand that when a customer comes into your showroom, you want to be able to give them the product that they want. So sourcing products based on what's currently available makes sense, for being kind of at the top of, what products you're going to put forward.
That's right.
On the technology side, have either of you noticed an increase in demand for more tech forward flooring solutions? You both mentioned using visualization. Do you get requests a lot from your customers? Do you hear them coming into your showrooms having already used such tools? James, maybe we can start with you.
I'd say absolutely yes. It's probably half and half. Half have already experienced it, half have already tried it. The other half are amazed when you can show that to them. And it's just another tool. You really want to be able to, you really want someone. It's important to me that what they select, they like. We'll order a box. We'll look at the visualizer. We'll look at the picture. We'll look at other pictures. In the end, once it's installed, it's there. I can't take it out. We can do the Shaw deal, but it's there. So it is very helpful for the folks that didn't know about it or the folks that are using it to be able to do that. I considered, how can I take that image and put it onto my floor? Take that Roomvo image and put it on this floor so you could actually look at it. The more you can do like that, and the more you can do that where somebody else can't, it just differentiates your business and lets people know that you truly do care what they put in their house and that they're happy with it. It's a lot of money, right?
James, does your sales team use Roomvo during the sales process at all?
We do. But we do it on our phones. So now I've seen that kiosk, but I haven't really been given any information about it. Now I just heard $300 off, and I'm like, well, is it $300 off of $2,000? What does the thing cost? I absolutely would want those in my showrooms because they would get used. They would definitely get used. And I was told that I would get a free one if I did this panel. Weren't you, Eric? Didn't you get that same info?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that sounds like a great deal.
We're always selling. Come on.
I love that. You might be interested to know, James, that Eric already has a kiosk in his showroom.
And I'd love to hear how it does for him.
Yeah, Eric, can you share a little bit more about your experience and your RSA's experience with the kiosk?
I would be happy to. So let me just back up to say that, again, and I know everybody that's in retail sales or sales period, you're constantly looking at a way that you can differentiate yourself from the competition. And, I think we recognize, technology visualization is not new. It's been around for several years. But I think, especially for our market, as soon as, we were exposed to Roomvo, well, right away, we got involved in it, put a widget on our website. It was fantastic. Walk through a showroom with our iPads, put this stuff in there. It was just phenomenal. But I'm going to share something with you. It was a game changer in 23, whenever Reed and them had the kiosk at our Abbey Buying Convention. And we jumped on it. We got it here. The owner of our business he has such foresight. He's got tons of experience, years of experience in this. We advertised it on TV. We advertised it on our social media. We actually got known here in our area. People would walk in the door saying, hey, I've got some pictures on my phone. Let's go put it in your machine so I can see what it looks like, on the screen. And it's just been phenomenal. Now, as you go along, there'll be other things we'll have to look at to differentiate ourselves with. But I think that tool, when we would have a customer, it's totally amazing. If they would put their room in that kiosk, and there's room for like 3 or 4 of us to stand around. It's a design center is what it is. They put their room in that kiosk. We would put that flooring or we put, we changed the paint color of the walls to kind of match what they had. We put that backsplash, above that countertop, that Dow tile or MSI countertop that slowed it in there. You made the sale. I mean, it was a clincher. And I think something James said a while ago, people come in, when they come into a flooring store, they're really ready to buy something. So how good are you at selling it to them, making them feel confident that your staff, you as a staff, know what you're talking about, and they're going to be happy at the end of a pretty big expenditure. And I just know that what I've seen with the technology that we enjoyed with Roomvo, the kiosk has definitely been a game changer. That differentiated our business in our marketplace. We got to jump on it. We've done fantastic with it.
Eric just sold 3. Eric just sold 3.
I don't work for Roomvo.
So you sold 3.
But so it's amazing.
Well, once I heard that you can, I didn't know that. I mean, you can load on the MSI. It's not just these pictures. You can load up the MSI on there. You get everything on there.
Put your countertop on there. Put your back. Yeah. And then, of course, this is all, none of it's new now, obviously, but, comparing 2 floors, that blows people away. And when you compare 2 floors in a room of their own home with their furniture, their woodwork, seeing how everything would go, it's a deal changer. I'm just going to share this just real briefly. It was amazing. We've actually had a couple suppliers, distributors actually join Roomvo from standing in our show, watching us sell merchandise. There's one company, Universal Flooring, out of Houston, which we actually stock a lot of their items. We're a stocking dealer. And when the ownership was in our store, and I shared with him, I said, and he was watching us sell it, and I said, you need to have your products here where we can show them. We spend so much, to make sure you got a great product, have a great product. We're a big customer of yours. We need to be able to show it in a room, in a customer's room, not just off from your website. They actually, enlisted and enrolled in Roomvo, and it's incredible. So, South Winds carpet. It's, the president of the company was standing in our showroom room watching us sell a competitor's material, just because we could put it right there on that screen. Like I said, 4 or 5 of us all standing around that screen. So it's not just on your iPad or your mobile device. And then everybody that walks by, the other customers in your showroom, hey, I want to see this in my room, or can you show me the? So anyway, it's been a game changer for us. It's been a great investment. We use it every day. Our whole sales staff, it was a priority to do the training. We all use it and utilize it. So it's been good for us.
So you guys are both using it as part of your sales process. That's what I'm hearing you say. And I would encourage everybody listening to this, if you're not using Roomvo, use Roomvo. Okay, just it's a no-brainer. And also, if you're using it, make sure that you use it as part of your sales process. A lot of people just have the widget on their website, and that's fine, but you're leaving a big functionality on the table, collecting dust if you do that. I think
let me say something. I would say then also, though, I use it, but on an iPad, it's not as impactful as what Eric's saying. So, I'm certainly now of a mind. It's not nearly as impactful. It's nice. It's all right. But the way he's describing that, even I didn't get that from looking at the kiosk online. Here, buy a kiosk. I'm like, what is it? Just an oversized iPad? The way he's describing it, 4 or 5 people standing around that sounds like something that people are going to gravitate to. And that piques my interest. And those types of things, like what he said, those can be game changers. So just on the phone, it's not as impactful, but sounds like it is in that kiosk.
Yeah. With the kiosk too, kind of alluding to what Eric had mentioned, it really can become a focal point of the showroom. It's a great tool to use for customers who maybe are kind of just discovering what products they're interested in, but it's a super solid closing tool as well. And so we're getting some really, great feedback about it because the kiosk experience was purpose built for the showroom versus simply pulling up your iPad on your mobile device or on your tablet. So Yeah, we're seeing some great feedback. It has become, that focal point of the showroom, and it fosters a lot of collaboration between the RSA and that prospective customer within the showroom.
So let's talk about 2025. What are your guys? I'll start with you, James. What are your predictions for the flooring industry for 2025? What changes do you foresee in consumer preferences or market dynamics?
I have no idea. I'm not the guy that makes predictions. I have no idea. We just keep expanding. When COVID came, I said either it's going to be boom or bust. I'm all in. Let's just buy a bunch of stock. Let's load up. Let's say when no one else has it, let's have it. And we killed it. Maybe I'm not the ideal person for this panel, but I have no idea. I can't predict the future. I just full steam ahead, and we just keep on rolling. That's it. It's all I can do.
So apparently nobody can, because nobody right.
Yeah.
So I guess it's your best guess. How about you, Eric? What do you see happening coming up in 2025? And you make a good point, James. This is a difficult question because if you listen to so-called experts, you're getting polar opposite opinions.
Yeah. Well, all I hear is if Trump wins, it's going to be amazing, and if he doesn't, it's going to be horrible. But you know what? I can't control that. I got one vote only, and I got to roll with whatever happens. So now I got to be smart, right? You can't be dumb with your money, but at the same time, if you're scared, what's that going to get you? It ain't going to get you anywhere.
How about you, Eric? What's your best guess? Any? You gonna prognosticate?
Come on, Eric.
So this is just, and I totally agree with James. We are all definitely guessing, even though that we have some great experts telling us about trends, styles. I think the biggest thing that I guess our focus is what has been the regional in the past 6 to 9 months. And some of the things that I was just sharing with you, like here's one thing, like we were told, I don't know if it was at Abbey or if it was at Surfaces, I think a presentation by Shaw, how black, the color black was coming back in the decor package. And, so if you look at it, there's very few lamps, there's very few LVPs that are black. But that's one thing that I made sure we had a couple of displays that had some of that, and it's been amazing that we've sold that. So I don't know if black will ever dominate the market. I'm not thinking that, but I'm thinking we need to have some colors that are different than what we've been having. The greens, the blues on wall, the happy floors, a lot of their great blues. While that may never be a main part, I think through social media, through how small the world is, what our customers here see happening in Dallas and in Houston, which is 2 to 6 hours away, respectively, they know about it right now. It's not going to be a year and a half before those trends get here. They see what's on the TV shows. So I think having some things that you're seeing in the bigger metropolitan areas as far as how it pertains to us, by colors, shapes, is important, but being diverse. So in other words, it's not just because for 25 years we've sold this look. I mean, we're still going to have that look, but if we don't have that display or two or those other options, we're going to be missing some opportunities, and we're also going to be pushing those customers to that competitor or that box store. So I don't know if that answered the question. Just trying to be diverse in our offering.
So I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction. I see 3 possibilities. The flooring market's going to go up, it's going to go down, or it's going to stay the same.
Bold.
Yes, I know. I'm way out on a limb here. But it ties into what I've been coaching dealers and what I hear both of you saying, and that is do not let your business let your fate be ruled by external circumstances. Take control of your own fate, okay? Don't wait around for the feds to lower rates or for the candidate you want to win or any. These are beyond your control. And what I hope you guys who are listening are reading between the lines, because what you're hearing both Eric and James say is they're doing things regardless to help make sure that they're going to be successful no matter what happens in the marketplace. let's shift gears just a little bit. What kind of growth opportunities do you see for your business? First of all, are you looking for growth opportunities? And if so, what are they? What do you see coming up for your business? Start with you, Eric.
There's you always look and you always think, how do we expand in the business we're in, and what else relates to that business? What are some other things that we could have here to sell that would be a complementary additional type sale? So I think something that Rita talked about earlier, as far as on Roomvo, I mean, you can put, your countertops. If you're not offering countertops, I think you're possibly missing the boat. Something I'd like to see, possibly that would tie in for us. What about window coverings? Will we ever be like competitive with Walmart? No, but we don't want to be. We want to sell that quality, that good ring up window covering to however many customers you can that's buying the flooring here. So, that's kind of, as far as what I feel good about saying and comfortable sharing is it's more kind of possibly expanding, that customer offering whenever they're inside your four walls. Once you have them here or even on your website, what are some areas that we can grow in that relates to the business that we're in?
How about you, James?
First off, I noticed that Eric's trying to keep some things under his hat, and I'm all the way in California, so I'm not going to steal any of his ideas. But he is right. He's very right about that. Everybody would love to add countertops. Countertops take up room. Countertops, you got to have warehouse space. It takes, so for me to get into it, I had to get another warehouse and another forklift. If for us, in stock is big, right? It's got to be there. You can see it, you can buy it, you can touch it, and you can take it. But I did have to learn that you're already spending the money to get that customer. When that customer comes in, why are you sending them somewhere else to go look at countertops and cabinets where you don't get anything out of it, right? But your buddy's happy, but you didn't get anything for it. So you got to have everything that has to do with floor covering, window coverings, the backsplash, the tile, the cabinets, whatever you can add to that falls in your periphery, you should have it and be able to sell it, because it just adds on, right? It just adds on. You've already paid or you've already worked to get that customer. Now you want to sell them everything you can that you can reasonably service.
So you guys going to start? You guys going to have a burger grill in the back?
Not going to do that because I can't service that, right? I don't have the cook for that. I can't do that well.
I think that's a good idea, Jim. That will definitely.
I'll see now. I had a feeling.
There you go. One of you is going to take me up on it. I agree with, and I'm kidding, of course, but yes, agree with both of you. You've spent the time, energy, and money to get them through the door. Maximize that. Okay.
But I didn't learn that. I mean, I had to learn that. I think Eric may have gone to school for it. I didn't. I was just a flooring guy. All the salespeople that work, most of them are my ex-floor guys. They turn into great salespeople because they know what they're talking about from top to bottom. I didn't know anything about the materials I was putting in until I started selling them. When I was installing them, I just knew how they went in, and it's a thin carpet or a thick carpet. But now that you know it both ways, the customers appreciate, that knowledge that you have. But a lot of it you just have to learn, and you learn it by some of these seminars. I mean, I just recently discovered you got to sell everything that people are asking for that's in your market, since you're paying to get them in here. So it takes some time. It takes time to learn things sometimes.
Yeah, we've heard this a lot, that to protect yourself, to just diversifying is the way to go. And like Jim said, you pay dollars, you expend a lot of effort to get your customers in the showroom, so why not be able to service them as much as you can across all of the products that they are interested in purchasing. So yeah, totally agree with you. We hear a similar sentiment from a lot of the other retailers that we have the pleasure of working with. But with just a few minutes left of our session today, We've opened up the Q&A section for all of you. If you do have any questions for Jim, myself, James, or Eric, please feel free to drop those questions in there so that we can make sure we get them out before the end of our time. I do just want to reiterate on the Roomvo kiosk, they are on sale. They are originally $3,500. They're on sale for $3,200 for the hardware. So for those of you who are interested in moving on a white Roomvo kiosk, feel free to reach out to your Roomvo rep or myself following our session here today, and we'll make sure that we can get an order put together for you. So while we're waiting for some of these questions to trickle in, Eric, do you have any advice for other flooring dealers who might be navigating some of the similar challenges that you and the team at Briegel are?
I think, James has given some great input, and I've taken notice of several things that he has said. And I think one thing that he's hit on that I've learned, and again, I don't have the experience in the business like he does, but I learned it pretty quick, is, how important it is to really, develop those relationships with the builders, with the contractors. Are you involved in the community? And there's more things than just being in the building community, but are you part of the home association? But it's so funny. It's like the involvement. And again, I look at the ownership of our company, he and his wife, what they've been involved in and what they're still involved in. And then, the involvement that I have and how people recognize you, and how you get to develop relationships with potential customers. So, I think developing relationships with your builders, your contractors, your designers in your area, treating, our contractors are treated as customers because they are. And we do want the business and we want the customer's business. The involvement in the community and getting out and let people know you. Like I said, again, everybody has whoever the big competitor is in your market area, your whatever box store. But when they come into your store, do they know you? Do they know your staff? And having that opportunity to develop those relationships. I think that would be my encouragement, what I've learned.
Agreed. It is such a relationship-based industry, both from, the retailer to the customer side, from the retailer to the supplier side. Those relationships really do go a long way. And so we're starting to get some questions. So I'm going to pass them over to you, Eric and James. One of someone from our audience is asking, how much are either of you using social media today to advertise for your business?
We use it all the time. I don't do paid advertising on social media, but the couple of salespeople that are in charge of that and that receive the leads from the social media post daily, if not more than daily, quite a bit. I actually have considered going back to Facebook ads from some of the other advertising I was doing, because we were actually getting some significant leads when I did paid advertising through Facebook. It's just that the person that was doing that for me disappeared. So I may go back to that. I think that was successful, but I mean, social media is just another means to make sure that, you're out there, you're being seen, you're an option.
What platforms are you using, James?
Instagram, Facebook. I let they do it, so I don't pay close attention to it. But I mean, all the big ones.
Okay.
Eric,
on your side, any social media?
Absolutely. Just like James, it's important. Everybody, is aware of it. Everybody is on some platform or another. I think a trick is figuring out, which ones work best for your business and what items or what presentation you're giving. So, we do something constantly on our Facebook, Instagram posts. We'll have a flash sale, a new item, every 10 days. We're doing a presentation of our store staff. And again, we're a smaller area, so that's kind of an important thing. I mean, we do stuff on constantly trying to be, out there where everybody's at. So we're definitely big believers in it.
For sure. And like with majority of our customers today starting their shopping journeys online, it's so important to be present, whether it's a website or a social media page. So again, we're kind of hearing the same sentiment from a lot of our customers. I've got two questions that are for me, but kind of similar. So I'm going to tie them together from Jose and Scott. Why does the Roomvo kiosk give an advantage over, just running the visualizer on a large screen when it kind of does the same thing? And so Eric, maybe you can speak to this after me, but like with regards to the Roomvo kiosk, as I had mentioned, it is a purpose-built experience for the showroom. It is a 43-inch touchscreen monitor that allows a lot of collaboration with the sales associate and the customer. You have the opportunity to have that physical sample, touch and feel that sample, because that's always going to be an incredibly important part of purchasing flooring products. Understanding too that customers may purchase flooring products once or twice in their entire life. So taking that into consideration when you're guiding them through that journey, and then bringing them to the Roomvo kiosk where they have that physical sample, but that product also displayed in their room at a large scale. We also, as I mentioned, this purpose-built experience, we also support retailers with QR code functionality. So at no charge, you can create QR codes using Roomvo that when scanned, create a curated list of favorites on the Roomvo kiosk. So where your showroom has thousands and thousands of SKUs, we can really dial it down to the ones that make sense for your customers. And so those reasons are why we're seeing the success we're seeing with the Roomvo kiosk and the customers that are using it today. And really just doubling down on providing that support with the in-store experience. We've got 1 minute left. Eric, I don't know if you have anything to add to that with your experience with the kiosk before we wrap things up.
Just real briefly, so I'm going to share something with everyone. So, and I get where the question was asked from, because I mean it's pretty common sense whenever you're looking at it. But here's a reason and advantage that we personally have had. Number one, if there's been an issue, I've had direct contact with Reed and staffing for Roomvo. And let me share with you a couple of issues. Not too long after we kicked it off, we were working with it. Century Lawson is a company that we sell a lot of LVP and laminate with. Their pictures were not correct in there. So, I pull it up, put it in the customer's room. You're looking at the sample. You're looking at what's on the screen. It's wrong. It had to be corrected and fixed. By having the contact and the support, of what we're paying for through Roomvo, it was corrected. So, and that issue has come up a couple of times. But I think that's been an advantage of ours, that when something hasn't been right, we've had a real short distance to get it corrected.
Awesome. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. So appreciate you all taking time out of your busy days to join us today for this awesome panel. For those of you who have any outstanding questions, we will be sure to reach out to you following the webinar. And again, thank you so much for your time, and hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye. See you.
Bye, everyone.